We've heard from the Broncos. We've heard from the Browns. Time to welcome in cleveland.com columnist Doug Lemerises and hear from him. Doug, as always, we appreciate the time. You looked at that Patriots game, and there were some good things, but there were a lot of bad things. What are your thoughts just as the Browns go out to Denver to play a team they should beat?
Yeah, I think they're going to go win. The thing that's hard about the Patriots game is their best offensive lineman, Joel Bitonio, kicked the ball out of Nick Chubb's hands, missed the block that led to that weird interception, and had a holding penalty on a screen that really hurt him. He's still really good. Those were 3 bad plays for him. Nick Chubb, who's the best player on this offense through 7 games, had 2 killer fumbles. So those are good players who did things that really hurt them. And if Nick Chubb hadn't fumbled at all, they would have been ahead 7-3 early instead of losing 10-0. And then the Bitonio missed block leads to another turnover that leads to points. So, you just have to hope, good players sometimes make mistakes. I don't know that that's coaching. I don't know that that's a lack of focus. I think stuff just happens sometimes. And then you had some other things that happened with some guys who were more fringy guys, had some penalties you can't accept. And I think maybe you put some of those guys on the bench this week. But, there's a lot that people have angst about with that Patriots game. And honestly, if Nick Chubb holds onto the ball, it's a different game. And everybody agrees that Nick Chubb is the hardest working, most earnest guy, best teammate, great person, maybe a top 5 running back in this league. And he put the ball on the ground and he killed him. So it's like, what do you do going forward? It's like, well, let's not have that guy who's really awesome do 2 horrible things, and we'll like our chance.
Another thing that has to be somewhat disturbing, turnovers and penalties seem to be a recurring theme, and those are 2 things that good teams don't do, and teams that do those things, they're usually bad teams that don't win.
Let me cue up my excuse list here. I'm going to keep giving them. I'm going to keep giving excuses. Yes, they had turnovers. When they had turnovers early, it felt like Baker Mayfield was inaccurate or not on the same page with his receivers. That wasn't the case in New England. He didn't have that. He had the one throw where they crossed Jarvis and Odell, and he hit Stephen Gilmore in the chest, and he got lucky that wasn't picked. But, Denzel Ward had a ball in his hands in the end zone that he dropped on a diving play that Tom Brady made a terrible throw. And if he catches that, that's a red zone interception for Tom Brady. So anyway, ifs and buts and candy and nuts. The penalties that killed him against Tennessee were stupid, right? Were these after the play kind of aggression penalties, trying to be tough guys for no reason. Those are gone. They don't commit those anymore. They have the pre-snap stuff. Pharaoh Brown, who's like in an ideal world, like their 4th best tight end, flinched twice. So what do? I don't know. Maybe Pharaoh Brown doesn't play as much this week. Again, some of these mistakes are great players that you figure they're not going to keep making those. And some of the penalties are guys that you can put them on the bench because they're making these mistakes. But I don't think, but to say like, well, turnovers are still a problem. Certainly the New England turnovers were not the turnovers we saw early where receivers were dropping balls and Baker was not maybe putting the ball where he wanted it. So like, you're right. Yes, penalties and turnovers. But I think this version of penalties and turnovers that we saw at New England can get fixed more quickly.